Welcome back to Unsolicited Advice with Frank. And first I want to thank everybody that's been tuning in. I looked on Anchor and it said that episode Francisco, the one I did about my dad, had about 250 plays, which is dope. I really appreciate that. The people that are taking time out, whether it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes to an hour of their day to listen to my podcast, I appreciate it. Especially when I didn't think anybody would tune in, to be honest. But I was on the phone with my mother earlier today, and we was, discussing some stuff. Me and my mom tend to have these deep conversations every once in a while. And we was mentioned 2692 Creston. And for you that don't know, that's where I used to live at in the Bronx. And if you know anything about my family, or, if you know us, you would know that 2692 Creston was not just a home to us, but a home to many people. And not only was it a place where you can come and get find a place to lay your head at, or just come to talk. It was home, And one thing I appreciated about my house was that it was constantly a revolving door of people coming in and out. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in the sense that my mom, my dad never really closed the door to anybody that needed a place to lay their head, come eat, talk, just have a good time, converse, whatever. And my mom being a social worker, I feel like that a lot of people would come by just to talk to her because of her profession. So 2692 was a special place to all of us. And, I'm sitting here thinking, and my mom and I were discussing it, and I told my mom that this specific friend of mine once said that they didn't want to go home. They wanted to stay with us because they felt safe. And, that resonated with me because, yes, my home, I should feel safe in my home, right? Anybody should feel safe in their home. But for somebody that didn't live there to say that, let me know that my parents were doing something right? The vibe in the house was right. So, I've asked other people in the past, what did it mean to them? And other people had different, ways of explaining what they felt about it or how they felt about the house. They really felt like it was home, even though they didn't live there. So real quick, just a little background. My father bought the house when I was about 2 years old in 81, I think, or maybe 82, I'm not sure. But I recall him telling me I was 2 years old when he bought the house. Anyways, he buys his house, gets us out of the South Bronx, but we still in the South Bronx because my aunts and them live there. My mom works there. My dad, like I said in the other previous episodes, he had a few businesses there. So I spent all my time there. I went to St. Luke's High School, St. Luke's School, not high school, St. Luke's School. And, I spent most of my time there. Like I said, my childhood years to maybe 11, 12, I was there. So when I started going, what I remember from the times of that house was a lot of it was we would leave and come back at nighttime, even on the weekends, because when you were a small business owner, you really don't get a break. So my mom and my dad were still there on the weekends too. So, I remember to give you a little depiction of it, as you pull up to the house, had these bushes around the front, had like a little yard, a driveway, about 5 steps. You go on onto the porch wrapped around. So it went from the front of the house to the side of the house. So it had 2 entrances. When you walk in the main entrance, you had a set of stairs that go all the way up to the second floor. Then you had a hallway that led from the front to the back of the house to the kitchen. And to the right, it was the living room. And then from the living room, you can connect into the dining room. And also in that little hallway, there was another door that led into the dining room. And then you go in the kitchen, and the kitchen, had 2 doors, one leading straight to the backyard, the other one leading down to the yard and the basement. The basement was unfinished. It was kind of cooler down there. Even in the summer months, it was cooler down there. I don't know why, but it was. Living room had a fireplace. The dining room was pretty big. And, my mom and my family, they would just be, that's where we would meet at. That was the hub. That was the home base, if you want to call it, So no matter where, how much time went by, 2692 was always there. And we was able to always have a place to go to meet people and people to know where we were at. So, for example, when I joined the Navy in 97 and I left, a few of my friends, between coming back and home, you lose contact with people, especially around that time. Cell phones wasn't like it is today. You could back your phone up and, or your contacts carry over. So a few of my friends from high school, whenever they want to get back in contact with me, they'll go to the house and stop by visit my parents and say, hey, tell Frankie to give me a call when you get a chance. And that's how we kept in contact. So no matter what, it was like a beacon of light for people to come back. I remember my grandmother cooking extra food for my friend Larry. He would come through the neighborhood because he didn't live on our block. And he would come through, say what's up, check out our other friends. And my grandma give him a plate of food, like, hey, come on. So that didn't even stop when I left. But I remember growing up that we had everybody stay at the house. My aunts, my uncles, my cousins, friends of the family. 2692 Creston Avenue was not just a home to me and my sister and my parents. It was a home to many, many people. Friends of the family, cousins, people come from Puerto Rico. I needed a place to get their head right. And until they got their feet wet and get established, they would stay there. My daughter, when she was born, and once I went to boot camp, her mom and her stayed in my mom's house for a while. She spent most of her childhood years there. And if you listen to the episode her and I had, she says it. That was her home. So, it wasn't just a house, though. What made it home and made it what it was the love, the vibe, the energy that was put into it. My parents, we didn't have much. So they gave us what they could and made the best out of it by constantly making sure we had what we needed. It wasn't something that we had what we wanted. We had what we needed. And like I said, because my mom's profession, I feel that's why a lot of people used to gravitate there. Growing up, I remember people thought that our house was a group home because they would see different kids coming in and out, different cultures. It wasn't just me and my sister. It was my sister and her friends, me and my friends, and it didn't matter. It was Puerto Rican, Dominican, black, whatever. You come in and out the house, people thought it was a group home. And these kids, like my friends used to come in, go to the refrigerator, get some food, come back out. So it wasn't like, it was respectful. My mom and our neighbors, when it says it takes a village to raise, right, your children, it does take a village. And that was our village. So 2692 was part of a village of people that would come together, and we had parties there, Christmases, New Year's, Thanksgiving, birthdays, baby showers, you name it, we had it at 2692 Creston. I remember when it was getting ready to sell the house, I decided to put my hand in the chimney. We had a chimney we never used. We never even used this fireplace. I don't even know if it worked, to be honest. But I put my hand in there. And there were still letters that I wrote when I was a little kid to Santa Claus, what I wanted. So I would put these letters in there thinking that he would get them somehow, some way. And obviously he never got them, but I always got what I wanted. But my parents left the letters there. I remember, when I was a little kid, I would come down the stairs, because they'd be listening to aguinaldos during the holidays, and they'd be listening to Spanish songs, Christmas songs, and they'll be wrapping the gifts. So when you used to come down the stairs, they would be in the dining room, so they couldn't see you from where the stairs is at. And in that one hallway that I said was there was a bunch of coats all the time, so you can actually sneak in and kind of push yourself into the coats and hide because it was dark, so they couldn't see you. And I caught them wrapping the gifts, But as a kid, I didn't say nothing. I went back upstairs, laid down, went to sleep, woke up the next morning. Voila, gifts are there, In my house, we always had a real tree. A real tree. That was a standard thing. My dad would go down the street to Kingsbridge and he'll get a tree and he'll bring it up the block and we'll put it on the little stand, add water to it, decorate it. That was our thing. It wasn't just a home. It wasn't just a house. There was more to it than that. It was a place that you can go and be yourself. Like a place where everybody knows your name. You know what I'm saying? Like Cheers. But it was my house. My parents sold it in 2015, and it's never been the same since. As a matter of fact, it's not even there. Literally, it's not there. If you go, it's an empty lot. The person tore it down. And it's a little bittersweet in a sense, right? Because I'm lucky my kids got to see it, but now I can't take my grandkids to go see it, or It's not something we could drive by every once in a while and say, man, look at the house. It's gone. And with it, what's gone is just the physical structure of the house. The memories and the spirit of the house, if you want to say, is still there because it's in us. So it'll never disappear. So at times you'll catch my cousin. She'll walk by the neighborhood and send pictures and be like, oh, man, look, the house ain't there. There's times my sister will be like, oh, I was over there, you know, or Serena would walk by and be like, damn, they tore the house down. But that's life, you know, I guess. But I was blessed to have that. You know, 2692 was my safe haven. 2692 was a safe haven for a lot of people. And when I ask some people, you know, what do you think of when you hear? Give me a word that you think of when I say 2692. One person said safe. Another person said home. My daughter said home. You know, my cousin said love, family oriented, fun, house where everyone is welcome. And that's there because of my parents. That's there because that's what 2692 was. A place where everybody was always welcome. And a place that you knew you can come to get a plate of food, to have somebody listen to your problems, to laugh, to cry, to talk. That was my home, and I was blessed to have it. And that's why I'm so big on having a home and having a place for people to come. You know, especially during this pandemic and this time, I wish my sister can come down here with me because she's in New York. Or my parents leave Florida, now this is getting worse, and come up here. Because that's what 2692 was. It was a place for you to go whenever you needed to go somewhere, whenever you needed to start over, whenever you needed a place to feel safe, you wanted to feel loved. You came there. We wanted to party, we went there. When we wanted to meet up, we went there. And now that's gone, you know. But the memories will never be forgotten, hopefully. And we, at least my family has, and the friends that have been able to partake at 2692 can say, listen, I know I experienced 2692 Creston Avenue. So that's my bit. That's my little piece. And I wanted to share with you guys because everybody has a home. And I hope that your home is like my home and it means something to you. And I know that everybody's home is great. And some people had a bad home or bad situations. But for me, I had a good situation. I was blessed, man. We were poor, but we had family. We had love. We had that. And you can't take that away. Money can't buy that. So for all you that have a home, whether you want to forget it or not, just remember those are experiences. That's an experience you have in your life that made you who you are. And just always remember your home. It's not a building. Home is deeper than that. It's a spiritual thing. So thank you for listening to me. Again, thanks for the support. And this was 2692.